going? This is Rich from True Budget EDC and Prepping. Use your gear or lose your gear. So I want to come out here and do this video about why you should not watch giant YouTube prepper channels. This was actually an idea that wasn't like asked from me to do it. It was more of my buddy A at EDCQ said that I have a bullshit detector. She didn't actually say that, but she was implying that. So she said, hey, check out this guy that's a prepper. He's got a really big channel. And I went and looked, and I was like, oh, I already know this guy's full of shit. You know what I mean? And we're not going to really go all the way into how I know people are full of shit. I just know. Everybody should know. You can figure it out. It's not that big of a deal. I haven't always hung out with the best people. I haven't always put myself in the best situations. I've ran the streets and been around a bunch of shady people, so kind of picked up knowing when somebody's full of it, and call it intuition, call it whatever you want. I can pretty much pick up on people's full of shitness. So that's why I wanted to do this video, to keep people from getting duped and from wasting money on things that you don't need. It might be a little bit of a longer video, so I turned off the comments, not because I don't want people to comment, because I do. I just don't want to not pay attention to what I'm talking about and talk to people in the comments and mess everything up. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but if you do have something to say, I think once the live is over, you can go put like whatever you have to say in the comments and I'll respond to you. Or email me at the email listed on my about section. Also, you can hit me up on Instagram at TBEDC, and we can straight up talk on there because it's messenger and all of that cool stuff. So that was the reason why I wanted to do this. Plus, I've been thinking about doing it for a long time because I watched a lot of these channels, and it's just these guys, man. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff that I wanted to mention and what to look out for. But before I start, I wanted to give some background about myself and how I got into prepping and what my skills are professionally or non-professionally. I'm not doing it to toot my horn. I'm just doing it so people know that I'm not full of shit, right? I watched a lot of these channels. She asked me this on Sunday, and I've checked it out before, all these channels, and I've researched them all. And I went back and I started doing it again, and I started watching some of the videos and looking at some of these big channels, and I was like, all right, let me write this down. So really didn't see anybody say anything about their skills, whether it's professional or whatever, and I think that that's sketchy in itself. So in order to be transparent, I just wanted to give some background information on what I do, how I got to be where I am. So, non-professionally, I've definitely taken a shit ton of classes, whether they're survival classes, whether they're, medical classes, whether they're like self-defense classes. I've taken a whole crap load of them. I used to teach like a bunch of survival stuff. I work with a couple people. One guy's a firearms instructor, one guy's an Aikido instructor, and we do like trainings at his dojo where I teach about knives. The other guy teaches about firearms. He teaches about open hand combat. So we do that. So that's cool. I've taught land nav, map usage, all kinds of stuff. But that was outside of, professionally, other than the fact that I do have my own company called R&R Survival. I'm still doing that, but not as much anymore. I do have a first aid company called First Response Solutions that is on Facebook. If you want to check that out, it's a page. So that's kind of stuff a little bit, but I am a first aid instructor, certified. I advanced basic and wilderness. That's where the first aid page comes in, First Response Solutions. I am a certified coordinator for CERT, which is Community Emergency Response Team. So the first aid class that I teach is actually a FEMA first aid class. It's basically an advanced first aid class. So I work with FEMA through CERT, which is preparedness, and we teach people preparedness classes. There's a lot of stuff in there, disaster medical, there's fire suppression, there's a ton of stuff that's in the CERT manuals and stuff, and we basically teach that and get people certified. And then they can join a CERT team once they do all of that stuff. I do have a CERT team that is accepted by FEMA and the state of Massachusetts. It's Western Massachusetts CERT. So if you wanted to look that up, you could look that up on the CERT listings, and my name will come up with my phone number and all that crap. So if you guys wanted to check that out and learn about CERT and classes. So I do teach those still. Also am a disaster response team member for Team Rubicon. So we respond to disasters, medical and or otherwise. I pretty much only do it in the Northeast and normally mostly in the state of Massachusetts because it's where I'm at, just easier. I am a emergency medical responder, certified first responder. I'm a nursing assistant. I went to college, certified, all that stuff for that. I also I forget shit. I was when I was in the I was in a volunteer fire department, so I was kind of EMS. We did medical calls. That's where the certified first responder comes in. In Massachusetts, in order to be fire department, police, whatever, you have to be a certified responder in order to respond to medical calls. You just have to be, which means you're trained above the level of a normal first responder, which is basically they just show up to calls like accidents and stuff like that, and then a rig will show up and other people show up for the medical needs. But in Massachusetts, you have to be a certified first responder, so you can provide medical aid at that level until somebody else that is equally trained or trained above your level can take over for you. So, still a certified first responder as I work in the school as an emergency medical responder for children in special education who have severe medical needs. So I still have to be a certified certified first responder for that emergency first responder role. CPR certified for healthcare provider, infant, child, and adult, AED, all that crap. I'm probably forgetting stuff. I have like 40 certificates because I deal with the Massachusetts Fire Academy. I have when I was in the fire department, and I still do because I'm in CERT now. So I'm through the MFA, also through the Massachusetts what is it? MEMA, Massachusetts Emergency Response Agency. So I'm still dealing with them too, because of CERT. So I'm involved in like all of this preparedness shit, all of this medical shit, all kinds of stuff, right? So this is like what I do. Like I get paid to teach CERT classes. I get paid to teach, first aid classes. I get paid to do all this stuff. This is like a job, right? It's fun. It's not really like a job, but it is. And I'm also a registered Stop the Bleed instructor, which is the Department of Defense, whereas CERT is Homeland Security and FEMA. So we work through all of those guys professionally, and we deal with people at the state level. So this is like my job. I'm like a registered prepper, I guess you would call it. So I watch these channels, and that's my background a little bit. There's probably more that I don't remember, but there's a lot of shit. So I watch these channels, and I wrote down some things because I feel like a lot of these people are just full of shit, and they're just doing it for YouTube, right? They're just trying to make money, which, hey, I get it. People got to make money, right? I understand that. But you're making money putting out shitty information. You're not representing real world preppers. I don't feel these people are doing. I feel that they're just putting out doom and gloom, and they're representing things that aren't likely. I mean, anything's possible, right? So, but a lot of these big prepper channels are, really based on fear and just a bunch of nonsense. Like take CERT, for example. I teach CERT, and we teach about preparedness, but we teach about maybe your locality, where you're at, where do you live, things that could happen. I'm not talking about fucking asteroids flying out of the sky, hitting and making a 1,000,000-foot tidal wave. That's not what I'm talking about. Or a Mars-sized planet crashing into Earth. I'm not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about, snow. As we live in the Northeast, right? You could have a snow emergency. You could have ice storms. You could have power outages. You could live in California. You could have earthquakes. You could have flooding. You could have wildfires. There's a ton of things that are real world things that people need to prepare for. You need to know how much water you should have for your family members. You should need to know how much food you should save. This is real shit. We're not talking about building a bunker because the aliens are going to fucking attack next month, and they never do. Like, you know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. This is what these channels do. So I just every one of them too. So it's ridiculous. So what I told A basically was, don't really watch the guy that has 800,000 subscribers because he's full of shit. Watch the guy with 800 subscribers because that guy's a real world prepper. He's doing real shit. You know what I'm saying? He's not, doing this giant production. This guy's really doing shit. He's canning food. He's making bread. He's doing hardtack. He's putting perishables away. It's real shit. This guy isn't, building a howitzer out of fucking PVC pipes in case the fucking animals or, Planet of the Apes comes. Like, it's just a bunch of nonsense. And this is what these channels are. And, they have 1 million subscribers, and that's scary in itself, but people are herd animals. They really are. I've actually done research on that too, on how people represent the same thing as herd animals. They herd together. So people want to follow, especially people that don't have that knowledge and they don't understand. They figure, oh my God, I got to get this knowledge somehow, so I'm going to follow this guy. He's got 1 million subs. He must know what he's talking about. But he doesn't. Everybody thinks like that has that kind of mentality. So all of these people think the same thing, and they all follow this guy so he has 1 million subs because none of these fucking people know what they're doing, and they want to learn. I get it. Marine X. Check out Marine X's channel too if you get a chance. Marine X does some serious real world prep and shit. Truck preps, stuff, vehicle kits, shit like that. Really good stuff going on. But he also did a video on I couldn't find it either. So just go to his channel, check out his channel. But I watched it when it was out. I don't know if he took it down or something, but he was talking about how as men, but not, I'm saying not just men, women, it doesn't matter to me. We don't pass down our knowledge. And that's something that we should do. And I totally understand that. And I totally believe what he said. And I'm 100% on board with him. I mean, I grew up differently. I'm older. I'm in my 50s, right? So my great-grandmother was born in 1902. She went through the Depression. My grandfather was born in 1909. He went through the Depression. My grandmother was born in 1921. My great aunt was born in the 30s. She's 93. She's still alive. So these people lived a different life, and they taught you different things than you're going to learn today. They had to go through situations where they didn't have things, and they needed to learn how to, you know, substitute shit for other shit, and in order just to survive. So these are the people that I learned from. I didn't learn from some guy on YouTube. We didn't have YouTube. Okay, so but that's the different time where now, as you know, you have YouTube, but you have these people who are sketchy, who aren't really trustworthy, who don't have a lot of integrity. Where back in the day when you were talking to your grandmother, you knew she was fucking, you know, telling you the real shit, and you knew that she was telling you the truth. She wasn't lying. There's no reason for it. People at that time didn't do that. So this is where the whole, you know, internet comes in, social media. You know, you don't know these fucking people, man. Like, seriously, I mean, you don't even know me, like, right? Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a lot of these people are full of shit. For all you know, I'm full of shit too. I'm not though, but like, I'm just saying. And I'm not doing it for money or anything. And I see a lot of people that are. So yeah, it's pretty shitty. So I wanted to come on here because I feel that people put out bad information. That's just shitty. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff. First, I kind of wrote down things that you should look out for, right, when you go to a channel. So the funny thing is, I went to these channels, and probably the first like 10 channels, and I wrote down, I think 10, yeah, like just a bunch of channels, and just a whole shitload. I was looking at them, and they all had this crazy headline, and that's one of the things you got to watch out for, like this fear-based, you know, just this title, this headline that's like, oh my god, look at this, because it's trying to suck you in, right? They're trying to play on the fear of people, so that those people come to that and they see it and they go, holy crap, I need to watch this, right? Because people, again, remember, they're followers, they're afraid, and they don't know what they're supposed to know, so they're going to try and figure it out by watching this dude. So the first one was like talking about war, but the title was like war, so people are, oh, shit, war, I gotta watch this video. The next one was, holy crap, it's time to get out. Like, we gotta get out. That's another, we gotta bug out, you gotta get out. One was like just big letters, alert. So you see where I'm going with this, right? Like, there's these huge taglines that are very like descriptive and scary and fear-based. There was another one that was like, beware, emergency, kill, don't wait, what comes next? One was like, don't waste time. Other one was 48 hours till emergency. So that one made me laugh, because you know what, 48 hours to emergency, if you're not prepared and there's only 48 hours left, you're fucked. You might as well just lay down. Like, seriously, you need to be prepared before that you get to that point, okay? And the whole thing that I always said about prepping is, if you prepare and nothing happens, fuck it, nothing happens. You're good, right? Because you got all this shit now. But if you don't prepare and you're not ready, then you're screwed. So if it's 48 hours to emergency, you're done. You need to be ready before that. So that whole video is just ridiculous, because what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it made me laugh, and I was like, I gotta write this one down and talk about it. So those are just some of the taglines that they put on there to suck these people in, right? So these people are already afraid. They already see world events happening, and they get scared. They don't know what to do. Hey, I'm not ready at all. I don't have anything. What the fuck? You know, I gotta go on YouTube and watch this guy because he's got 800,000 subscribers. And this is what you get, you know what I mean? These fear-based taglines, headlines, where people are gonna see that are already afraid and go, oh shit, I gotta check this guy. He knows what he's talking about, because he's, you know, 48 hours to emergency, what am I supposed to do? Like, you're supposed to do nothing because you're fucked. You only got 48 hours left. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not ready. You should have been ready way before that. So those are just some of the taglines and headlines that I saw that were kind of amusing, and that's one of the things that just suck people in, seriously. So now, how do you tell if these channels are full of shit or not? Well, I wrote down a bunch of that stuff too. So one of the things that you can tell if somebody's full of shit is observation. I'm gonna keep coming back to this one too. Observation, whether you want to call it situational awareness, you want to call it, like, you know, whatever, but it all comes down to observation, paying attention, seeing what's going on, knowing things. You know things, even if you don't think you do, you still know. You could tell when people are full of shit. They don't say the same thing twice. It's harder to lie because you can't keep the lie straight. When you just tell the truth, you're just telling the fucking truth. You don't have to worry about it because it's the truth, right? So I've been on some of these channels and they said the same thing but differently. So they were, you know what I mean? They weren't keeping it consistent. So you just observe what they're saying, and what they're doing. If their shit seems ridiculous, it probably is ridiculous. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, whatever you want to call it, observation or situational awareness or critical thinking, even. That's another thing. So in the medical, like everybody said that I have really good critical thinking because you can't be freaking the fuck out when something's happening. Like, you know what I mean? You need to know what decision to make and you need to know how to make it now. And that's what people need in order to figure out how people are and what these dudes are doing. They're playing you because just what they do. We'll get into why, but like, you know what I'm saying? You have to pay attention and observe and watch these videos and see what they're saying and go with that. So that's the first one. That's the most important one. That's the one I'll probably keep coming back to. Number two is selling things. I understand everybody sells stuff, right? People have merch, they have merch stores, they have all kinds of stuff that they're selling. But some of these people are selling books. Like they wrote a book about how to stay alive in nuclear war or Holocaust happened. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Only $17.99. You can buy my book about how to survive. And there's a million books out there you can buy on how to survive. There's prepper books. There's prepper medical books. There's a ton of shit. Like, you know what I mean? I don't need to buy this book off of this guy when there's so much stuff to learn. And you notice that it's constant. It's one day it's they're selling this, next day it's they're selling that, next day it's they're selling this, next day it's they're selling that. And they're just trying to like make money off of fear, really, honestly, because that's how it comes out to be, right? They'll say, well, if you don't buy my book, you could die if a shit hit the fan situation happens because you need to know what's in my book. It's bullshit right there. Go back to observation, right? You just saw that. That sounds like bullshit, right? So you know it is. So just have critical thinking, have your observation, know what's full of shit, and just go with it. Because that, when they do stuff like that, you know that's a crap load of it's just a load of shit. They're making stuff up. They're trying to get you to buy it based it on fear. And they're selling shit just to make money, and they don't care if it's right. That's just what they're putting out there to scare people, and scare tactics will sell shit. They really will. People are afraid. They will sell shit. My wife told me one time that I can sell ice to an Eskimo. So I've been around those people. I know how con people work. Not that I was doing that, but it's easy. So you can seriously, it's not that hard. And people they don't know that. And it's based on fear. You take what somebody either fears or loves, and you build on that, and they'll buy fucking whatever you're selling. So just know that that's what they do. So observe that, pay attention to that. Now another one, third one that I wrote down was sponsorships. Okay, so I'm sponsored or collaborating or affiliated with a bunch of companies, right? I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got Rovivon, I got flashlights from Trustfire, I get Alpaca gear, all kinds of shit. But I'm not really making any money on that, right? And I'm not trying to sell that shit. I don't really make any money because of the fact that I never post my affiliate links because whatever, dude. I'm not trying to get people to buy shit because what if they can't? What if they can't afford to buy stuff? I don't want people to go beyond their limits. You know what I mean? I don't want FOMO. I don't want any of that shit. So if they're like have all these sponsorships, because one of the big dudes I was watching, it was like Olay, every other video, Olay, buy Roaring Fire, buy this, buy that, buy this, and it was just like, dude, this fucking dude. Again, not only is he selling his own shit, but now he's got all these sponsorships and he's selling all this other shit because they're paying him out and they're giving him product, right? And I don't get paid out. I get mostly items, like they send me stuff to review and I get to keep it, obviously. But yeah, I'm not on there again. Oh, it's a prepper flashlight. You gotta buy this flashlight because shit's gonna hit the fan and you need a flashlight. And this is the best one, this Rovivon A7X. It's not. It's a fucking flashlight, right? You can use any flashlight. All right? Don't buy this one because I told you to buy it. Buy any flashlight that you want, that you think is good enough to do what you got to have done. Buy more than one though, but like buy whichever one that you like, whatever name brand you want to get. Don't buy it using my fucking discount code or my freaking affiliate link. I don't give a fuck. Just buy it. See, that's the problem with me is like I don't make a lot of money doing first aid classes because I'm more concerned about people having the knowledge than I am about making money. I can make a shit ton of money doing first aid classes. I can make a shit ton of money doing cert classes preparing people, but I do that shit for free in a minute. Just because I want people to know this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel they should. So that is why I'm on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I do it. But you definitely got to watch out for the sponsorship as well, because, you know, that's a red flag, definitely. 4 is fear. I know I mentioned this in the beginning. with the taglines and the headlines. But fear is a way for them to get people sucked into their channel by, saying, oh, the end of the world could happen on Wednesday, and it never fucking happens on Wednesday. And then they're like, well, I was wrong. It was next Wednesday. My bad, dude. I just, and then it never happens. That sounds ridiculous, right? That sounds like those fucking dudes standing on a corner saying the end of the world's gonna happen with a sign, and then the shit doesn't happen. That's basically what some of these dudes are doing, like every freaking 10th video. And it's crazy because they're just trying to get you to buy the shit that they put out there. So you have it, you use their links, you use their affiliate links, they get that kickback, that company gets its money from them, those people buying it, and everybody's happy on that side. And the guy that bought it's happy because he thinks the end of the fucking world's really happening, and it's not. So you gotta watch out for that. So that's one of the big ones too, is fear. So if you go on a channel and it's all about fear mongering, like, this is gonna happen, a civil unrest is gonna happen, you have to have 9 million rounds of ammunition, but don't buy any fucking food, right? So you starve to death. But like, whatever, just shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is the way I critically think, right? Like I said, medical field, everybody's always said that I had good critical thinking, and you have to critically think in life. And when people are bullshitting you, just think about it, man. Don't react. Don't be reactive. Always be proactive, because when you react, you do dumb shit. Reaction, like emotions and fear and shit like that, are based not on like logic. They're based on emotions. And if you just react emotionally, you're gonna fuck yourself every single time. So don't react emotionally. React logically, or don't react at all, but think logically, honestly. I always tell everybody that they're totally illogical. They get you in all kinds of trouble if you're acting with emotions. Right? Emotions. I can't even talk. So definitely fear, right? And again, before I continue, I turned off the commenting, not because I don't want to comment, people to comment. I just don't want to be rude and not talk to you. So definitely, when the video's over, go in the comments, say what you got to say, or email me. Like I said at the beginning, it's TrueBudgetEDC@yahoo.com, but it's also on my About page, or go to IG, go to Instagram, and I can talk to you directly on the messenger system that they have there. It's TBEDC on Instagram, so check that out. Because I like talking to people. There's a lot of people in different countries that I don't get to talk to that much, and I can talk to them in different states and all over the world if you're on Instagram. It's super cool. So check it out. Now, number 5, things to look out to see if they're full of shit is the production, how they're doing their videos. The real world prepper may have a lot of equipment. It's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but normally the small dude with 800 subs who's doing the real shit isn't that guy. He's like me. I'm on my phone. I'm sitting in front of my closet, and this is how the fuck I'm gonna always be. You know what I'm saying? I could buy like a $900 camera and put it on a system, and put a fucking rail on my ceiling and have it roll across so it looks like I'm in fucking Hollywood. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do what I'm doing right now. I did this video yesterday, and I tried to do it without doing live, and it said my phone didn't have enough space. So I've already tried to do this. You know what I mean? And I don't care. I'll just keep doing it this way because this is what I want to do. To me, it's not a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get people knowledge and learn stuff from people, and meet some cool people and check shit out. That's what I'm trying to do. But the production is a big deal. If it looks like it's fucking Hollywood, it probably is Hollywood. It's a TV show, right? That's not reality, man. Everybody knows Hollywood's not reality. So if you got a big, huge production, that, to me, that right there shows that you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. You do know all about buying all this equipment, though. I'll give you that. I mean, and that's not always necessarily true. Some dudes that do the big production thing, really do know their shit. But I'm saying, in general, it's just it's a show, and yeah, it's not. You're better off, like I said, don't watch the guy with 800,000. Watch the guy with 800, because that's a real world dude. Also, back to observation. Watch what they say. Watch if you know shit, right? So you're a prepper watching my channel. You're obviously, if you haven't been prepping for a while, you might not know as much, but do know some stuff, right? And if you have been prepping for a while, you know more than the beginner guy does, right? Watch what they say. If it sounds like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, then they probably don't, right? Anybody can say anything. Anybody can say they're anybody. They can say, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to watch what people say. And if they're not consistent, right? If they say one thing and then they change their mind on it, and they change their mind on it, and they change their mind on it, they don't fucking know, man. Like, seriously, just watch for the lies, things that don't match up. I don't know. It's not that hard. I think people feel that there's more into it to knowing if these people are full of shit. There's not. It's really not. I mean, granted, I've done other things and I've been around other people and I've been in different situations, but everybody has the ability to know. It's called a sketch detector. That's what I call it. Like, you have a sketch detector, you can tell when people are full of shit for sure. So definitely watch what they say. Now, who to watch, you ask? Who should I watch? Should I watch me? Should you watch me? Nah, you don't have to watch me. You should watch the real world prepper, the small real world prepper, right? Like the person that is doing shit that you know isn't that guy with the fucking Hollywood production. He isn't that guy, you know, that's selling books that he wrote. He's not that dude that's, you know, freaking what? Has all these sponsorships. He does not the one that, you know, has got Olay coming out his ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not that dude. You got to follow the guy that's like really doing stuff. The guy that's doing real world shit. Like, right. And a lot of these channels don't do that. Like, there's things that as a prepper I do that I never see these people do. Like, you got to learn how to dehydrate food. You got to know how to procure stuff, right? Like, you should learn how to forage, and if you don't hunt, you should learn how to fish, because shit is perishable, and once it perishes, you don't fucking have it no more, and you need to replace it. So, you know, making bread, dehydrating food, canning food, things like that, glassing, fucking eggs and shit, like lime and stuff like that. Um, yeah, there's just watch that dude, right? Like the dude that's hey, this is how you make bread. You know what? This is how I can pickles, or this is how I make freaking whatever salsa, or you know, guacamole. I don't give a fuck. You just the person that is really doing shit that you know they're doing it, but they're also using it. Not the guy that's putting shit on his shelf and leaving it there for 100 fucking years. Like, I've seen some people that just buy those big buckets full of survival food. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's true, but you're not really doing anything, because that's perishable and that's going to go away, right? You're going to use that bucket. Yeah, you might have 20 of them, but eventually all 20 of them are going to be gone if shit hits the fan and you can't, you know, get food or anything. But now you didn't teach anybody on how to fucking procure food, or how to forage, or how to hunt, or try out how to fish, or how to do anything else. So if you don't learn, back to what Marine X was saying, if we don't hand down our knowledge to people, they're not going to be able to do the shit that we know how to do like second nature, right? So that's what none of these channels teach that. You got guys with fucking 30 buckets that they got from, you know, I don't know, some survival company. Yeah, it's great. Those are backups. You got somebody with 200 fucking bags of Mountain House. Fantastic. You have to realize all that shit goes away, and when it does, you need to know how to replace it on your own, because if there's a shit hit the fan situation, there's an economic collapse, you know, whatever, you're not going to be able to go to the store, because there's going to be no fucking store. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need to learn how to make shit and do shit on your own. I honestly recommend watching some historical channels like the Townsends or early American stuff, 1800s, 1700s, because they're teaching you shit on how they lived at that time. They live in a different time than we do now, where they didn't have the shit we have, and they still made it right now because we're here. So, early American, I got a bread recipe. It's got like 4 ingredients. Literally, it's flour, water, salt, and molasses. That's fucking it. And you can live on bread because they've done it. You know what I mean? Hardtack is what? Salt and water and freaking flour. I mean, so there's like channels that are actually showing you real shit that happened, you know what I mean, historically. And then there's also people that are on there now showing you the same shit, like how to make pemmican. Um, there's like, you need to know how to survive after everything is gone, or if you have nothing, you need to learn how to do that. And a lot of these channels aren't teaching you that. They're worried about how many fucking, you know, spanner wrenches I can fit in this fucking tool roll, or like just dumb shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have 50 tools. And one of them was like 50 things you need to buy for fucking prepping. You don't need to buy 50 fucking things. Shut the fuck up. Like, just buy whatever you can afford. So I did a show, a video about my prepping, right? And what I do. I showed my shelves, and I don't have a million things on my shelves. This is shit I bought, right? I bought the shelving units, put them together. I stockpile them with fucking different non-perishable canned goods and condiments and things like that. I have 3 freezers. I have one for bread. I have one for like meats, and then I have one for junk shit because I have kids. So yeah, that's like my setup, right? But I also have a dehydrator. I also have a water bath canner. I don't pressure can because I don't know how to, really, and I don't feel like canning with a fucking helmet on in case it explodes. I probably need to learn, but that's another thing. I need to learn that shit from somebody who's done it, right? Like, anybody can water bath can. There's no, you know, you don't have to worry about shrapnel when the shit blows up. So, yeah, so I do all of that shit, right? I've literally went out in my yard and collected acorns to try to make acorns so I can make acorn flour. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I ended up having to toss that whole thing out. But like, I know that you can do that from me studying and reading and stuff, and that's another thing. You should read and get yourself a prepper library. Um, Amazon's got a million books, eBay, you get books, and whatever you want to learn about, there's a fucking book for it. I'm serious. Like, you don't have to watch some dude on YouTube. You can friggin' go on, Amazon and get that book and check it out and read it and keep fucking reading it until you remember it. And even if you don't remember it, put it on a shelf. You got a library right there now. I got a bunch of prepper books right there. You think I read all of them? Fuck no. But if I need to, I can go to them and use them as reference books, right? Because that's what you need to do. So, yeah. Always follow the dude that's like smaller, that's doing real shit, like seriously, or talking about their shit. Or, if you see these guys, they got a whole nother building, like, and this building is full of all of this shit, like, that they got for, the end of the fucking world. There's gonna be freaking aliens landing in fucking 6 months, and we're gonna need to have these 200 buckets of survival food. I don't know fucking how to make bread or anything, or fucking buy canned goods, but I got these buckets, like, like stupid. So this is what you do. You don't have a lot of money, that's fine. Not everybody has a lot of money. You can go to the store and buy one fucking can of carrots every week, right? After a year, you have 52 cans of carrots. Do that. You want to go buy 3 cans of peas, fucking do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just buy what you can afford. Usually what I do is, because me and my wife get a bunch of stuff, I'll buy 5 of what we eat. So we eat green beans, we eat carrots, we eat corn, we eat spinach, we eat whatever, and you buy 5 of them, put it on there, rotate it because you're using it. When you get low, go back and do it again. You buy your mayonnaise, you buy your mustard, my fucking kids eat ketchup like it's fucking unbelievable, dude. Like, buy that. Like, I gotta buy like literally 10 fucking bottles of ketchup. Like, I'm not even kidding. Go to Aldi's, go to places, these stores where you get discount shit. You know what I mean? So you're not spending a lot of money. Don't go to the big name grocery stores where you buy the fancy ketchup that's Heinz. It costs fucking $4 a bottle. Go buy the freaking ketchup that costs $1 a bottle. Who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Seriously. So do that for sure. And then, you get your mayonnaise, you get your ketchup, you get your salad dressings, you get all of that shit. I can almost see what's on my shelves in my head. Like, and then you get all your cleaning supplies and you buy extra. My wife wasn't always like into the prepping thing until the great TP shortage of 2020. And then after that, there's fucking, fucking 100 fucking rolls of paper towels downstairs. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but you gotta do what you can afford at a time that you can do it. And like I said, even if you buy a little bit at a time, eventually it'll build up. You can get a 25-pound bag of sugar at Walmart for like $12, dude. Like, you just gotta walk through the stores, right? You need oil, canola oil. They got like gallons of it at Walmart for like $6. Like, there's just like so much stuff that you can buy. It's not a lot, and you can do it over time. If you want to buy it all at once, fucking knock yourself out. Go in there with 3 carts, load them up. But it can be done. Get yourself a membership at BJ's or Sam's Club or Costco. Buy the shelving units. If you don't have a lot of space because you're in an apartment, there's ways around that too. You can buy, then you really buy like survival stuff. You could have to, just to save space, you could buy, you could put shit under, I don't know. I was going to do a video on that, on storage options. I know that some people have like, those beds with the drawers underneath it. You could fill those fucking things up with like mayonnaise and non-perishable. That sounds crazy, but if you don't have the space, you can do shit like that. So that's another thing you can do. But that's not. I got off track here. I was saying shit that you could do. Watch that guy that's doing all of that stuff. Like, seriously, the real world dude. Now, they're always telling you what to prep, right? They're always saying that you got to get all this shit that's not necessary. Like, you need to get air rifles and fucking Uzis, and you got to have 8 million rounds of ammunition, like I said, but no fucking food, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to have all of this shit, and you have to have, above all, the knowledge and skills in order to do these things, right? But when I was teaching classes, more so than I am now, I always taught about the big 5, right? Survival shit and prepping. I call it the big 5. And the big 5 I wrote down, it's food, it's water, or the means to purify water, it's also medical, fire, and shelter. 5 things, right? You have to have those things. You have to have food, because if you don't, you will die. You have to have water, because if you don't, you'll fucking die. You have to have fire, because you get cold, you'll get hypothermia, and you'll fucking die. If you don't have shelter, you out in the elements, you'll fucking die. If you don't have medical, you'll get sick and die. All of those things you need to have. That's what you need to have. That's it. You don't need to have 8 million rounds of ammunition. You don't need to. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that they tell you to get that you don't need to get. You need to get that shit right there. You need to get food to feed whoever's in your house. You need to get enough water to feed 1 gallon of water per day, per person, right? You're not going to be happy or excited about this shit. You're going to be thirsty. You can't really take a lot of baths. But you know what I'm saying? You need to be able to purify water if you can't get water, if you don't have the space. You need to know that you can purify water 3 ways. You can purify water chemically with tablets, but those are perishable. You can purify water with filtration like Sawyer's or Life Straws, but also they have. There we go, we're back. Sorry, I froze up there for a minute. But I was like, yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. Like I was saying there's 3 ways, I don't know if I went through. There's 3 ways to purify water: filtration, chemical means, and by boiling. Life Straws, Sawyer's, tablets, they're all perishable, but boiling, if you have a metal pot, you can always boil water, still the best way to purify. Boil for 5 minutes. Actually, what is it? I think you can boil for 2 minutes at sea level and 3 minutes for 5,000 feet and above. Just boil the shit for 5 minutes would be good. So those are ways to purify water. Food, stockpile perishable goods, learn how to fish, learn how to hunt, learn how to forage. I'm in medical, so take first aid classes, learn medical, even if it's basic first aid, do something, you know what I'm saying, so you have that. Shelter, hopefully you have a bug out location, or you're going to bug in, so you have shelter. You don't have to worry about that. But you may have to make sure that your house is fine. If you're out in the woods, that's unlikely, right? You should learn how to build a shelter. It's not rocket science. You build fucking lean-tos and shit, depending on where you live too, because sometimes places get cold and you don't want to be out with that shit. Get a tent. I mean, but just try to fortify, or take care of the home that you're in, or the bug out location that you're going to. As far as fire goes, learn how to make fire. Get ferro rods, buy lighters, matches, all that shit, and you got it around so you can always use it, because you might not always have electricity, you might not have heat to stay warm, you might not always have a generator with gas in it, you might not have any of that shit. So if you have those 5 things, or the ability and the skills to do those 5 things, you have the ability to get food, you have the ability to purify water, you have the ability to first aid, treat medical things, you have the ability to start fire so you can stay warm, and the ability to either take care of the structure and shelter that you have or build one, you're fine. Those are the 5 things you need to learn how to do, seriously. But in the end, it all comes down to training, knowledge, and experience. If you don't know how to do shit, you're not going to be able to do it, period. You're going to be screwed. You're going to have somebody else help you. Basically, that's what it is. You need to learn first aid to help people medically, right? You take basic first aid, and if you're good at it, move up to advanced. And that's great. You don't need to be a fucking, a PhD at it. You need to stop bleeding. You need to stop traumatic events. One of the most people die the most from things like bleeding, hypovolemic shock. Some people call it. Well, it's blood loss, but it's also, there's another name, I actually forgot it. It's hypovolemic shock, but hemorrhagic shock, that's what it is. Most people die from that, where you don't have enough blood for your heart to pump anymore, because you just bled the fuck out. So take a Stop the Bleed class. A lot of times they're free. I don't charge much for them. I usually add them into the CERT class, or I add them into the first aid class. So you're taking basic first aid and you're learning Stop the Bleed, which is advanced first aid. So do something like that, it's easy, man. Basic first aid doesn't cost much usually, and a lot of times you can go to the fire department or your sheriff's department and you can take the Stop the Bleed class for free. But if they do charge you, it's not going to be a lot. Sometimes it's 30 bucks. My school was doing it. I didn't do it. They do it through the sheriff's department here, and I think if you weren't trained, it was like $17 to do it. So it's not a lot. So definitely get trained medically. As far as the food thing, it's not really rocket science. You could watch people online that are decent. Like I said, watch a smaller person that's really doing it. What are you doing? You're putting away perishable canned goods, things that aren't gonna, go bad 5 years. Rotate it. If you're gonna stay, in your house right now, I'm buying it. I'm rotating it. But the reason that I do that is because I have fucking kids that never stop eating, and then I also live in an area where we have like snowstorms and we have like ice storms and there's high winds sometimes. And if there was a snowstorm and it's 18 inches of snow, you don't want to go outside, right? I don't have to, because I had a bunch of shit on myself. I'm using it. I might not have everything that I need, but I still have a whole bunch of other shit. So there's another reason to have it. It doesn't always have to be the end of the fucking world, right? Like, it's like global collapse and fucking there's zombies roaming the streets. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's just fucking snow. Like that's what it is. Like you don't want to go outside because there's fucking 20 inches of snow on the ground, and you're good because you have a shelf full of shit or a freezer full of shit or at least some stuff in there that you don't have to worry about. If you can put at least like 3 days worth of shit in your freezer, which everybody has, I'm sure, at least that amount. They tell you 3 months. But you got to build up to that. You can't just, jump into 3 months worth of shit. It's not how it works. And stuff perishes. You have to rotate it too. So I think a lot of these big channels are full of shit because they're like, okay, you have to have all of this stuff right the fuck now. It's not how it is, man. And they act like you're going to save it forever. And that's not really how the fuck it is either. You have to have your stuff and you have to rotate your stuff. Your stuff will go bad. It'll get freezer burn. It'll be no good. Shit gets dented. Don't eat canned meat that's old. Like, there's a lot of shit. Like, so you get botulism. You don't want that. It'll be dead. Like, you just gotta use your common sense, use your observation, use your critical thinking, use everything that's in your arsenal. Situational awareness. Common sense is a big one too that fucking people don't have. But definitely build up to it. You're not going to just jump right into it, I mean, anybody that wants anything to learn anything and you think I know something, feel free to email me. It's free. I don't fucking charge nothing. I didn't write no fucking book. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to help people get knowledge. I do a lot of research on stuff, so you can bet your ass that I'm going to look into shit. If I don't know something, I'm not going to just talk out my ass. It's not fucking cool. You give people bad information and they die. Like, I'm not trying to do that. Medically, too. I do a lot of medical shit. I'm doing it for a job. And I teach it. Like, I teach first aid. I teach, stop the bleed. I teach FAST, which is first aid for severe trauma. I'm that guy. It doesn't bother him, right? And even nurses I work with are like, "Fuck that, go get rich." He's the guy with the friggin' hemostatic gauze or hemorrhagic gauze, and nobody else has it. But now you want it because you thought it was funny until that kid started bleeding. Like, fuck it, you couldn't stop it, right? Like, but I got this shit. So that's what preparedness is. It's having the shit you need when you need it. That's it. Don't walk around with a pocket full of fucking screwdrivers, and unless that's your job. But whatever. Like I feel like these channels have you getting shit and carrying shit around that you don't need. Like that you're not going to use. Check out Urban Prepper. Not Urban Prepper. The fuck would Urban Knife Guy. My bad. Like I totally shit on JC right there. Like I didn't mean to. Like Urban Knife Guy has a lot of jungle survival stuff going on, but he's like that guy who's telling it how it is. He just had a video about the Knipex or Nipex, or how the fuck you say it, and he was saying that he didn't use them. He just thinks they're useless, and that was cool because that's not a popular opinion, but it's a real opinion, right? It's true. Same thing with MarineX. MarineX will tell you how it is. Definitely check out his channel. And A from EDCQ, check her out. A lot of good stuff going on. And I'm sure there's a million good prepper channels out there, but just look for them. Don't just jump on board of this guy because he's got all these subs, because a lot of times they're just full of shit. Yeah, so I got about 20 minutes. It's only 45 minutes. I thought it was going to take a lot longer than that. But again, yeah, definitely. If you need any help, I'm more than happy to help. I've sent shit to people. If I can do it, I will do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If people need shit and I can help you be safer or more prepared, I don't have a problem doing it. Yeah, that's like my main thing. I think that I definitely want people to learn, and I want people to be prepared and be prepared for things that are real. Definitely be prepared for events that happen in your area. Like, obviously if you live where I live, like here, or in the Northeast or in New England, it fucking snows. Like, it's been raining for like 2 fucking years too, which is weird. So you got to be prepared for all of that stuff, whether it's flooding or whether it's rain or whether it's snow or whether it's cold or whatever. Sometimes it's 30 below zero sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes your pipes freeze. You can't use the water. There's just a lot of shit. You should get a generator. There's other things that you can get into once you're into it and you've been doing it for a while. Like I said, you're not just going to jump into buying a fucking $800 generator. Actually, don't. You should buy like a $250 Sportsman, because they're smaller and they're going to do what you need them to do. And you can take it with you if you had to leave. So there's like a lot of tricks of the trade, and it's not all about gloom and doom. It's not all about fear. It's not all about selling books or getting sponsorships and affiliates. It's not all about getting 800 fucking thousand subs either. It's about helping people learn things that could keep them alive. It's about helping people be prepared. It's about sharing knowledge, like Maria X said, passing that shit down to somebody. Um, I'm gonna start teaching my kids first aid. Like, I haven't. I watched X's video and I was like, what the fuck? He's absolutely 100% right. Like, you don't think about doing that shit. You don't. You just, back in the day, that's what they did. Like, you know what I'm saying? You were in the kitchen with your grandmother and your grandmother, and they were cooking and they were showing you how to do that shit. They were just like, hey, check this out. This is how you have to do this. Um, and that's cool because you learned, and then all of a sudden, boom, here you are, 13 years old. You already know how to do all this fucking shit because it was a different time. Now, 13-year-olds don't even know what fucking bathroom to use. But like, I was cooking for my whole damn family when I was 13. You know what I'm saying? But that's knowledge that was taught to me, right? It's learned stuff. And we don't definitely pass stuff down like we should, for sure. We need to more. Um, you just gotta start doing it. Like, if you know something that I don't know, fucking put it on my freaking email. Send it to me as an email. Do a video. Whatever, man. Definitely put it out there, because that's what it's all about. You never stop learning. I don't care how fucking old you are. You're gonna learn something right now. Like, seriously, like, you just every day. So definitely, you should get your information out. Even if you start making videos, if you don't start, man, do shit. I don't care if you know how to paint. Fucking do a video on how to paint. Like, just pass your knowledge down to somebody. The funny thing about this is that I was just thinking about this video and what I was gonna do, and I was thinking about how we don't pass stuff down, and we should. And I was watching this video, and I don't even remember the lady's name, and it's too bad because she got cancer and she ended up passing away. And she was saying that her kids are going to take over her channel, because she used to paint, and they did, and I think that's fucking cool. So she passed down that knowledge, and now they're continuing it, and that's a cool thing to think about, like the knowledge that you have and you're doing on YouTube. If you have a channel, give that information to your kids, and when you pass away and you move along, whatever, they can continue your channel if they feel they want to. So that's because you pass that knowledge down. So, or at least they'll have the videos, like, forever, because that's usually where they'll be in the fucking ethernet forever. So they can get it from you that way. But definitely, try to learn as much as you can. Try to not believe everything you're told. Like, just because somebody has a lot of subscribers doesn't mean they know their ass from a hole in the ground. But definitely, and again, if you guys have anything to say, please put it in the comments after the video's over, or send me an email, truebudgetedc@yahoo.com. That is also on my About page, or hit me up on IG on Instagram. TBEDC, hit me up in Messenger. I like talking to people, and that's a really, really awesome way to do it because you can talk real time. So, you guys, have a good one.